Most men open their eyes in the morning hopping for softness. They want the day to welcome them gently, to offer comfort before responsibility, ease before effort, warmth before truth. But the samurai did not rise like this. The samurai greeted the dawn with no expectation of mercy. Their first breath belonged not to comfort but to clarity. Before a single step was taken, they faced reality with the coldness of steel. That is why they had no excuses, because excuses cannot survive in a mind that refuses to hide from truth. When I woke each morning, there was no thought of whether the world was kind or cruel. It simply was asterisk, and I had to meet it as it stood. The air did not soften itself for me. The light did not brighten itself for me. The earth beneath my feet did not shift to ease my path. Nature changes for no man. Life bends for no man, and when a man understands this deeply, he stops waiting for conditions to become favorable. Excuses are born in the gap between reality and a man's desire for a gentler world. They are the stories he tells himself to explain why he is not yet what he must become. The samurai eliminated this gap by accepting reality the moment their eyes opened. When you expect nothing, you blame nothing. When you face the world without asking it to change for you, you find that there is no place for excuses to grow. Many men complain about their mornings. They wake late and blame fatigue. They wake early and blame stress. They avoid their duties and blame circumstance. They delay their responsibilities and blame emotion. Their excuses multiply because they believe the world should adjust itself to their mood, their comfort, their weakness. But the world feels nothing for a man's state of mind. It does not pause to let him gather himself. It does not pity him. It does not wait. A samurai understood this without needing to be taught. When the sun rose, life demanded action. Whether his body ached or his heart felt heavy, duty remained the same. Whether the night before was filled with triumph or defeat, the morning required clarity. If the weather was harsh, discipline stayed firm. If the path ahead was dangerous, resolve hardened. The samurai did not negotiate with the morning. He met it with readiness. There were mornings when the ground was frozen, the air sharp enough to sting the lungs, and the sky heavy with the promise of storms. There were mornings after battles when the muscles were sore from combat and the spirit weighed down with the memory of death. And there were mornings in silence with no enemy in sight yet danger lingering everywhere. In all these mornings the samurai rose without complaint. Excuses never once offered protection in combat. Comfort never once spared a man from a blade. Delay never once saved a warrior's life. When you live with this awareness, you learn very quickly that excuses are a luxury only the weak afford themselves. A man who wishes to live strongly cannot depend on how he feels upon waking. He cannot wait for motivation. He cannot wait for the right moment. He cannot wait for comfort to arrive and place strength in his hands. He must create strength in the very moment he rises. The samurai understood that the first battle of the day begins the moment the eyes open. The mind tries to negotiate, the spirit must refuse. The body tries to complain, the will must override it. The world tries to whisper distractions, the warrior must silence them. Excuses appear here in this fragile moment before action, but a warrior's discipline strikes them down before they take their first breath. To wake without mercy is to tell yourself the truth immediately. You say, "This day will bring struggle. This world owes me nothing. This path demands effort. This life is mine alone to carry." These truths are not heavy, they are sharpening. They cut away softness. They remove hesitation. They align the mind with purpose. When a samurai rose, he did not ask himself whether he wanted to train, whether he felt ready, whether the circumstances pleased him. Wanting was irrelevant. Readiness was irrelevant. Pleasure was irrelevant. Only duty remained. Only the path remained. Only the discipline carved from yesterday and the intention forged for today mattered. Modern men wake surrounded by comforts unknown to any warrior of the past, yet they feel weaker. They possess warmth, yet complain of fatigue. They possess abundance, yet complain of hunger. They possess time, yet complain of pressure. They possess choice, yet complain of burden. They drown in comfort and still search for excuses to explain why they remain unfulfilled. If these men were stripped of their comforts for even a day, they would understand the power that comes from facing the world without softness. The power that comes from not needing ideal conditions. The power that comes from rising with the spirit already sharpened. The samurai rose each morning prepared for life and death. How could excuses survive such awareness? When every day may demand your final act, you do not waste your breath on justifying your inaction. You move, you train, you prepare, you face the world with your whole spirit. You do not seek permission from your emotions. You do not negotiate with weakness. You do not delay the inevitable. To live without excuses is not to live harshly, it is to live honestly. It is to face the truth of your existence without seeking a place to hide. It is to step into the day as a warrior steps into battle, knowing that what you do now shapes everything that comes after. A samurai had no excuses because he had no space for them. His life allowed only action, only discipline, only readiness, and in this way he became unbreakable. Rise in truth, and excuses will never rise with you. Most men live according to desire. They act when they feel like acting, move when they feel inspired, train when they feel motivated, commit when it is easy, and retreat when it is not. They search constantly for comfort, for permission, for the right energy to carry them forward. But the samurai did not have such privileges. Their lives were shaped by duty, not desire. Where desire bends and trembles, duty stands unmoving. This is why excuses could never take root in the heart of a warrior. Desire is fragile. It shifts with mood, weather, circumstance, and emotion. One day a man desires greatness and the next he desires rest. One day he wants discipline and the next he wants indulgence. One day he commits to his path and the next he abandons it for the smallest distraction. A man ruled by desire is a man controlled by the weakest parts of himself. Duty is different. Duty is a blade that does not bend. It is the anchor that keeps a man from drifting. It is the weight that keeps him from floating into self-deception. Duty does not ask how he feels. Duty does not soften when he is tired. Duty does not disappear when he is afraid. Duty remains. It is the immovable center of a warrior's life. A samurai would rise each morning with the knowledge that the world awaited him whether he came willingly or not. His obligations did not pause for his emotions. His responsibilities did not shrink because he felt unprepared. The code he followed did not loosen because his heart was heavy or his body sore. The warrior's life was bound to duty, and duty left no room for excuses. Many men today confuse duty with pressure, as if being responsible for oneself were some unbearable burden. They speak of discipline as if it is punishment, of responsibility as if it is a curse, of commitment as if it suffocates. But the samurai understood what modern men have forgot. Duty is not oppression. Duty is freedom. When you know what must be done, truly know it, your path becomes clear. You do not waste time choosing between comfort and effort. You do not search for motivation. You do not wrestle with indecision, you simply act. Desire clouds the spirit, duty sharpens it. There were moments in my life when desire would have led me astray. Moments when the body ached from days of battle. Moments when hunger gnawed like a wild animal. Moments when the cold cut through armor and bone. In those moments desire would whisper, rest, delay, avoid. But duty spoke louder, stand, move, continue. And because I listened to duty I survived. Because I listened to duty I grew stronger. Because I listened to duty I walked the path without wavering. Excuses are born from desire, duty kills them. A man who lives by desire will forever explain why he cannot do what he must. He will say the conditions are not right. He will say the time is not perfect. He will say circumstances are against him. He will say he will try later or soon or when things settle. But things never settle. The world does not arrange itself neatly around a man's comfort. A man waiting for the perfect moment waits forever. A samurai did not have the luxury of waiting. The enemy did not care for his comfort. Battle did not wait for his mind to clear. Life did not pause until he felt strong again. Duty forced him to face the world as it was, not as he wished it to be, and in that acceptance he found strength beyond desire. Duty does not guarantee ease. Duty does not promise reward. Duty does not flatter the ego or soothe the heart, but duty gives direction, and direction gives purpose. Purpose gives a man the power to endure what desire cannot withstand. When you choose duty over desire, you stop asking whether you want to do what must be done. You stop searching for excuses. You stop postponing action. You stop negotiating with weakness. Instead, you align yourself with a force that does not waver. It carries you forward even when your emotions attempt to hold you back. Men are quick to say they want to be strong, disciplined, honorable, yet when the moment comes to act, they retreat into comfort. The samurai understood that greatness is not built on feelings but on commitments upheld regardless of feelings. Desire is a flame that flickers, duty is a flame that endures. When battles were near, when storms gathered, when fear pressed heavily, the samurai did not say, I do not feel ready. Readiness was irrelevant, duty was everything. That is why they acted without hesitation. That is why their resolve seemed unearthly. They were not stronger because they were fearless. They were stronger because fear had no authority over their obligations. Modern men drown in excuses because they allow desire to lead their lives. They wait to feel motivated before training. They wait to feel confident before taking action. They wait to feel inspired before pursuing purpose. They wait to feel willing before embracing discipline. But the samurai learned long ago that the man who waits for desire is already defeated. The man who acts from duty cannot be stopped. Duty strips life of complication. Duty cuts through hesitation. Duty silences doubt. Duty focuses the mind. Duty transforms the spirit. When a man obeys duty, he becomes the kind of person who does not need to explain his actions. His consistency speaks louder than excuses ever could. And when a man truly lives by duty, he discovers something profound. Action becomes natural. Discipline becomes instinct. purpose becomes effortless. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt difficult becomes familiar. Duty becomes a second heartbeat, steady and unwavering. A samurai had no excuses because he gave himself no permission to seek them. He lived by a code that demanded more than desire could ever offer. He acted out of responsibility, not mood. He rose out of commitment, not comfort. He walked his path with the steady certainty of a man who had stripped away the weakness that excuses protect. Choose duty over desire, and excuses will no longer belong to you.